Hello and welcome to my video essay. Today I will be discussing a very loved and very recognizable auteur, Guillermo Del Toro. Del Toro was born on a dark and stormy night on the 9th of October 1964. This makes him 61 at the time of this video. As a child, he had an infatuation with horror stories and went on to study film at the University of Guadalajara. He learnt his special effects makeup from a man called Dick Smith and spent the 80s as a special effects artist. This paved the way, leading him to make many horror and fantasy films filled with monsters. His debut film was Kronos 1993, but some of his films you may recognize him by are Pan's Labyrinth, Pacific Rim, Shape of Water, Pinocchio, and most recently, Frankenstein. He's had quite a successful film career and has been regarded as one of the three amigos of cinema, along with Alfonso Cuarón and Alejandro Iñárritu. Alongside this title, he's won 3 Academy Awards, 2 Golden Globes, and 3 BAFTAs, and many other awards to commend his achievements. Today, I will be doing a comparison between his films Pan's Labyrinth and Dona Lupe. Pan's Labyrinth is set during the Spanish Revolution, where Dona Lupe is set in Mexico. I decided on one of his most popular films to compare with one of his lesser-known films because I was curious to see the differences in, his style and use of codes and conventions over the years. See how it's changed, see what he's added, what he's taken away, what themes. What I found is pretty cool. Firstly, I'll be discussing something that Guillermo Del Toro is very well known for, and that's his special effects makeup. He loves to design and create monsters. He's shown time and time again that he can create terrifying monsters through the use of silhouette and motivations. In his movie Pan's Labyrinth, he was able to manipulate this skill. You may have seen this monster before. His name is the Pale Man. He is seen when the girl in Pan's Labyrinth goes through the magical door into a hallway leading into a room. Yes, where the Pale Man sits and waits for his next child victim to consume. He's awakened when she eats a grape, and in that stance, the audience is able to see his stick legs, full pasty complexion, and sunken wrinkly skin. Most notably, he sees through his hands. Guillermo Del Toro has utilized this media code of mise-en-scene here to create the idea of fantasy and instill fear into his audience and viewers. This juxtaposes Dona Lupe. While Dona Lupe does include special effects makeup where it comes to blood and injuries, it doesn't include any of Del Toro's iconic yet terrifying monsters, and it doesn't encapsulate that part of his creative mind. Where Pan's Labyrinth used mise-en-scene to create fantasy, Dona Lupe avoids that and is grounded in harsh reality. When Lupe gets in a gun standoff with her abusive clients, she shoots one of them early in the fight. This special effect was a creative, bloody bullet wound. Why Del Toro used such an elaborate makeup and mystical characters in Pan's Labyrinth and not Dona Lupe was because of the way he wanted to convey each storyline. Pan's Labyrinth is about complexities of a child's brain during trauma and an escape from the evil that surrounds her. His use of detailed makeup and intricate design illustrates how horrors of war and abuse manifest in a young girl's mind, all twisted and mutilated, and how she may cope with that. This is quite the opposite to Dona Lupe, where the audience is seeing the situation from the eyes of an older lady. The harsh reality and truth and responsibility of the situation. Lupe can't and won't escape the troubles facing her. She's gone through too much life. So she sees the world as it is, no idealizing. This lack of fantasy in Dona Lupe, although different than many of his films, gives the film audience a realistic expectation. The audience, cognitively, will root for Lupe to win, but they will understand that the film is encapsulated in the reality of life, and it's not always going to turn out perfect. where Pan's Labyrinth emotionally challenges the audience. He wants the audience to be frightened of the monsters, but also put trust in the young girl's fantastical hopes and innocent outlook on the world. And as the audience, one has to think whether it would be better for her to die and live on this fantasy, or live in a world full of unhappiness and confusion. Moving on to a lighter topic is the media code of editing, and more specifically color grading. Get it? Lighter topic, color grade. Yeah. Anyway, another recognized style of Del Toro's films is his use of meaningful colors, specifically his lighting and color grading. Donna Lupe is a very yellow film. It's old and expected for a shorter, small budget film. However, most of his film is also very dim. So in the scene where Lupe goes outside to run an errand, the colors are the most yellow it gets during the movie. I think this is consistent with his style choice of using color grading to create meaning. It can also be seen in Pan's Labyrinth. Pan's colors is quite the opposite, very blue most of the time, like in the scene where she's in the labyrinth with the goat man. The lighting is incredibly dim. Similarly to Donna Lupe, this blue tone over the screen could be intended to mean many things. On a bigger scheme, it really just shows how dark and depressing and closed in the girl's world is. It's claustrophobic. This is contrary to Donna Lupe, where her exiting the house and the outside being yellow displays a glimpse of freedom for her, the things she felt during that moment. And I understand that blue meaning sad and yellow meaning happy is quite a basic idea, but it's also well known to a wide audience. By this association, so in Pan's Labyrinth, while it's very blue, the audience may feel claustrophobic, trapped by the impending sad feeling. While watching Donna Lupe, they might be more inclined to feel relief for her in that moment. And lastly, we have something he's not necessarily recognized for, but I noticed in both films, and this is his use of storyline to highlight the theme of woman's revenge. If there's something both films have in common, it's the empowerment of women in a misogynistic world. Pan's Labyrinth displays a stepfather/commander figure save his baby over his wife, attempt to murder a woman, and abuse his stepdaughter. This storyline is linear and shows each sexist misdemeanor after the other. This is similar to Donna Lupe. The linear storyline presents her two male clients as nice men, but as the film progresses, they are revealed to be extremely sexist and misogynistic. This is shown through their vulgar language, and by the end of the film, these men have been shot and died by the hands of these women. So the commander and the clients both get killed, spoiler. This creates satisfaction for the audience and a sense of accomplishment. Mistreated get revenge. In Del Toro's films, the men are presented as more evil than the monsters. So, to conclude, although Del Toro's use of special effects, makeup, and monsters doesn't age back to some of his older films, the strong themes and meaningful use of colors do. It's clear to see that Del Toro has always had specialties, and he's found ways to use it in his editing, mise-en-scene, and storyline. So, I'd like to thank you for watching. I definitely wrote this last bit on a different day where I wasn't as motivated. I hope you enjoyed my video essay, my little alien buddy here. And I hope you learned something about Guillermo Del Toro as an auteur. So, thank you for watching.